Hello, everyone. Welcome to the almost last stream of this Assassin's Creed 15-year anniversary. Today, we're doing Assassin's Creed 2. We're going to be going through different landmarks, events, and historical people. And with me, I have, AC Landmarks and also
Hi everyone.
Master Hekate Ceremonials. You can
Hello,
find
everyone.
you can find their Twitter our Twitter handles and also the channel of Master Hekate Ceremonials in the description below. This time we're collaborating again with the ones who came before. The handle is also in the description for Twitter, and they're Assassins in Need, Heart of the Creed fundraiser. So this fundraiser aims to donate money to the British Heart Foundation and the American Heart Association, so two incredible organizations that provide critical cardiovascular medical research and also education to facilities around the world. So if you wish to collaborate or find more information about this matter, you can go to the link of GoFundMe that is in the description down below of this video, of this live stream. And you can donate as much as you want. Okay, so without further ado, reminder that in between topics, we're going to be doing still the trivia. So if you remember, if you were here in the beginning, I made these old trivia questions. There were a lot, and we're still using that same document until now, and probably will be also used next week. So we'll be doing one trivia question after every topic that we do, okay? So, just to stop talking a little bit, I'm giving the microphone, so to speak, the metaphorical microphone, to Arsh, I think it is, to speak a little bit about Santa Maria del Fiore. I want to remind everyone here that you cannot actually replay the missions in Assassin's Creed 2, so we did all this in advance. I have recorded some of these clips, and other clips have been recorded as well by Zark, Master Hekate Ceremonials, and another was borrowed from someone that I actually do not know the name, but Arsh, whose video did we borrow? Do you remember?
Yeah. I reached out to this person. Well, this person reached out to us, thankfully, and I really appreciate them for reaching out to us. The name was I am getting that name to you right now. How professional of me.
You probably didn't expect it, but that's fine. We could wait
Yeah.
one more minute while you look for that, and then we can begin with Santa Maria del Fiore.
There we go. So there will be some cutscenes and gameplay that were shared by Tapak Yauri. I think he is a fellow assassin who came to my help. I think when I posted that I need some footage from Assassin's Creed 2, and yeah, they happily helped me with it, and I am so thankful for them. The Pazzi conspiracy, Francesco's thing, gruesome death is gonna be shown in the live stream, and that was all captured by them. So thank you so much, Tapak Yauri.
Okay, well, with that already sorted out, let's begin with Santa Maria del Fiore. I've already promised this 3 times, so
yes,
you can begin then.
I believe that is Zark's topic to cover, right?
Yes, that was Santa Maria del Fiore. So, better known as the Duomo, the Santa Maria del Fiore is the third largest church in the world after St. Peter's Basilica in Rome and St. Paul's Cathedral in London, and was the largest church in Europe when it was completed in the 15th century. It stands 150 meters long, or just close to 502 feet, 90 meters wide, or 295 foot 3 wide at the crossing, and 90 meters high from the floor to the bottom of the lantern. The third and last cathedral in Florence, it is dedicated to Santa Maria del Fiore, or the Virgin Mary of the Flower, in 1412, a clear allusion to the lily, which is the symbol of Florence, or if you're familiar with France, it's like the fleur de lis. Anyway, the first stone of the facade was laid on September 8, 1296, to a design by Arnolfo di Cambio. Arnolfo worked on the cathedral from 1296 to 302, designing a basilica with classic volumes based on three broad aisles converging in a vast choir, hosting the high altar itself, surrounded by tribunes, subsequently crowned by a dome. Arnolfo completed the two bays and half of the new facade. The facade was dismantled in 1587, when the Grand Duke Francesco de' Medici, Francesco I, decided to build a more modern one, and the surviving statues that decorated it are now in public display in the Opera del Duomo Museum. The Opera del Duomo being the organization that heads the maintenance and the historical research associated with the Duomo. Work on the building site slowed down when Arnolfo died in 1310, only for it to resume in 1331, when the magistrates of the Arte della Lana, or the Guild of Wool Manufacturers and Merchants, took over responsibility for the building. Giotto was appointed Master of Works in 1334, devoting most of his time to the erection of the Campanile, or the bell tower, but he died 3 years later. His post was filled by Andrea Pisano until 1348, the year of the Black Death, which slashed the city's population by half, from 90,000 to 45,000 people. Work continued despite constant interruptions until a competition was finally run in 1367. The competition was won by four architects and four painters, including Andrea di Bonaiuto Benci and Andrea di Cione, Taddeo Giadi or Gadi, and Nero di Fioravante. Francesco Talenti then held the post of Master of Works from 1349 to 1359, completing the Campanile, or the bell tower, and preparing a new design with the assistance of Giovanni Lapo Ghini from 1360 to 1369. The nave was fully vaulted by 1378, and the side aisles by 1380. I'm sorry. The tribunes and possibly also the drum for the dome were built between 1380 and 1421. Arnolfo's design was subsequently different from the church's current structure, as we can see from the outside. If we look at the northern and southern sides of the building, we will note that the first four windows on each side are lower and narrower, closer together than those to the east of them, which are part of an extension built by Francesco Talenti. The dome. Now, moving on to the dome, which gives us the popular name for this cathedral, the Duomo. The dome itself is an absolute masterpiece of art that enchants the world since its creation. It is a symbol of Florence, of the Renaissance, and of humanism in general. With 45.5 meters in diameter and a total height of more than 116 meters, the dome is the largest masonry vault in the world, and was built between 1420 and 1436 by Filippo Brunelleschi. Following the project, he presented in the competition launched by the opera in 1418. The Cathedral of Florence was consecrated by Pope Eugene IV on March 25th, 1436. Brunelleschi's major innovation was to build the dome without a supporting structure. The dome actually consists of two distinct domes, one internal and more than 2 meters thick, with a deeper angle than the other, and consisting of large arches held together by ribs in the bricks and made of bricks arranged in a herringbone pattern, sort of like a sort of overlapping angle or chevrons, if you're able to picture that. The external dome is covered in terracotta tiles and are marked by 8 white marble ribs. The oculus of the dome is surmounted by a large lantern and a 21-meter high white marble tower, which was built after the death of the artist in 1446, but following Brunelleschi's project. On top of the golden copper ball is an apical cross work by Andrea da Verrocchio was placed there in 1471. More than 100 years later, between 1572 and 1579, the internal wall of the dome was painted by Giorgio Vasari. Name important. I'll probably let you know at the end why. So it was painted by Giorgio Vasari and Federico Zuccari with an enormous Last Judgment, with an enormous work called The Last Judgment, partly inspired by the mosaics in the Battistero or the Baptistry, the largest mural in the world. Brunelleschi's astonishingly innovative approach involved vaulting the dome space without affecting any scaffolding by using a double shell with a space in between. The inner shell, with a thickness of more than 2 meters, is made of light bricks set in a herringbone pattern and is the self-supporting structural element, while the outer dome simply serves as a heavier, wind-resistant covering. The dome is crowned by a lantern with a conical roof designed by Brunelleschi, but only built after his death in 1446. While the gilt copper sphere and the cross of the lantern containing holy relics was designed by Verrocchio and installed in 1466. The inner shell of the dome was frescoed by Giorgio Vasari and Federico Zuccari from 1572 and 1579. The subject matter chosen, namely, being the Last Judgment, reflecting the iconography adopted in the baptistry. The frescoes on the outer shell of the dome were subject to restoration between 1978 and 1994. That's all that I have in terms of my research. However, I just want to say that I see some like AC landmarks asked, have you been to this landmark? And one already said I would love to go there. I went to Florence 11 years ago, and I'm actually going back in about a couple of weeks. I highly, highly recommend. And I had also like climbed the tower, so to speak. I actually climbed the dome. You can also climb the Campanile or the bell tower. But I think it's really, the view when you get up there is really, really breathtaking. I went in November. It was kind of cold, but like just the fact that you can see all of Florence in it when you're up top. Oh my God, absolutely breathtaking. I would highly, highly recommend if you do get a chance. And when you get down to the gift shop at the end, you may see some Assassin's Creed books because when I was over there, I think they had like Secret Crusade in the gift shop, but I never got a chance to get it. But yeah, that's really all that I have on the Duomo. Thank you very much.
That was very nice. I want to add that if you visit, I think it was if you visit the Duomo, if I'm not wrong, you can also access maybe the catacombs. There's like an under room, so to speak, and I think there are tombs or there's art or something down there. I think it was there because when I went to Italy, it was a while ago also, and it might have been in a different church. So yeah, but
that's awesome.
It was amazing though. It was really, really nice. So thanks a lot, Zark, for all this information.
Whenever I do visit Santa Maria del Fiore, I will remember that fact that you just told me. Yeah, the catacombs. So it has catacombs, right?
I'm not sure it's labeled as catacombs, but yeah, you can definitely go underneath. I think it was there. Seriously,
Nice.
don't take it with a grain of salt because I'm really not sure.
Yeah, because I didn't go there when I didn't go to any catacombs when I went over there. I did go to the museum though, where they have all of the relics there right now. But yeah, and and I just remembered, the Duomo actually still holds masses. So if you're Christian, feel free to go over there. I think the times are 7 a.m., 9:30 a.m., and I think there's one at like 10 or 11 last time I checked. So, but yeah, I haven't personally attended mass while I was over there, but I did go inside the church. I did pray inside it. It's really, really good. Really highly recommend. I can recommend enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Shall
Let
we
me
do
see.
a quiz question before we continue with the
Uh,
next?
let's do two topics and then a quiz question.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, we're doing a quiz question every other topic.
Okay, okay.
Um,
Okay, so next is
let me see.
Monteriggioni.
Yep, Monteriggioni, and this will just be a walk in the park of Monteriggioni as I am going to talk about it. Um, I I do I I do have to tell you, Ada. So let me see here. Um, we do have a thing. We do have a live stream of going over Monteriggioni. Oh yes,
Yeah, it already
there we
started,
go.
so I would hurry because it's not that long.
Yeah,
So
let's do it. All right. So yeah. So Monteriggioni nestled in the province of Siena. It's actually a real life place that you can visit, and it has its same original vibe that you see in Assassin's Creed 2. It also has like a perfect circular perimeter. That makes one suppose it to be an artificial construction, while in actuality it was created by just following the curves in the natural ground that it has. The castle was built by the Sienese people between 1213 and 1219, and it was used for defensive purposes. Its strategic location atop a hill overlooking the Cassia Road allowed the castle to control the cities of the Val d'Elsa and Stagia and be on the lookout for any armies approaching Siena. So so yeah, it was kind of a strategic placement in Siena, like uh, that was close to Florence as well. Um, a- anyway, there was there was a battle that they fought apparently, and they won the victory of Montaperti in 1260. Um, this is when their fortifications grew bigger. What do I mean by that? I mean the intact fortified wall that they have um, now got upgraded to 14 towers, uh, as you can see in Assassin's Creed, and along which the guards used to walk and patrol the walls and its two gates. So the village castle fortification, they did have two gates. One gate was called the Franca or Romea gate, since it faced Rome. The other was called the Florentine gate, since it faced Florence. This is the one that we use a lot during the game, as we go to Florence a lot in the game. Now, talking about Florence, the Medici's Signoria would later bring in Siena and all its territories under Florentine jurisdiction, having the castle be one of the properties they won in 1555. This is after the events of both Assassin's Creed 2 and Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, and Revelations 2. I believe. Like, do we know when Ezio died? Which year? Or not?
1526, I think.
Okay, so yeah, this is way after Ezio's death too. So yeah, the Medici got in control of his of his home, technically. Anyway, the current structure of the village is essentially the original one, as I said. Even the church in Monteriggioni, the Church of Santa Maria Assunta, was featured in Assassin's Creed 2 and still stands ever since it was built back in the 13th century with an elegant facade. Now, only a minor changes happened to the village. For example, in the 16th century, the towers were lowered a bit, and I think, of course, some of Earth's crust accumulated the base of the walls, and in 1921, 3 of the 14 towers were reduced to the level of the walls. And what's important about Monteriggioni is the firepower that it had, being a defensive fortification. Monteriggioni's turrets were not to be messed with. The castle's reputation and prestige has a very consolidated notoriety because of the poet Dante Alighieri, in which he wrote, and I quote this, this is a poem that he wrote. He said, quote, as with circling round of turrets, as with circling round of turrets, Monteriggioni crowns his walls, and thus the shore encompassing the abyss was turreted with giants half their length, uprearing horrible, whom Jove from heaven yet threatens when his muttering thunder rolls. You can find this in Dante Alighieri's thing. I think it is I think I will let you know the work in just a second. But Alighieri would even call the towers the horrific giants. It's these towers and structures that Ezio ran through to get to the cannons to stop Cesare's advance. Now, but these turrets or cannons that you heard were in a fictional battle against the Borgias, not a historical one. The Borgias never attacked Monteriggioni. That was just a fictional story told to make you angry at Cesare. In reality, Cesare ordered an attack on Forli, but the story's purpose was to attack Monteriggioni in AC to hit us right at home. And with that fact, I conclude the Monteriggioni part of the live stream.
Okay, great.
Yep.
Yes, very nice. I was a bit short when making the video. I should have done it maybe for a minute longer or something, but I think it still worked quite well.
Yeah.
So thanks a lot. I actually am glad to hear that certain. Well, not glad, but yeah, you always learn a bit. And in this case, the Borgias never really attacked Monteriggioni. I know Monteriggioni was at war constantly, like every Italian city was at war with each other constantly, but yeah, I did not know about the Borgias and Monteriggioni, although you could suspect it, I guess. So thank you.
Yeah, for sure. by the way, the work by Dante Alighieri, it was cited from his work, The Divine Comedy. If you guys want to check it out, the lines are 40 to lines 40 to 45. The ones that I think cited in this live stream. So yeah.
Okay, great.
Cool. So shall we go over a trivia question?
Yes. So this one is well, it's easy. I think it's easy. So I'm going to put it in the chat, and I'm going to allow you people to answer, because actually I don't think you're going to need the multiple choice for this one, because I know I have we have very, very big fans of the of the franchise in the chat right now, so they will be very capable of answering. So the question is, which Isu, or which one that came before, did Ezio meet, well, quote unquote, at the end of Assassin's Creed 2? Yeah, that was very easy. That was very easy.
Congratulations to...
Yeah, Fregalite is absolutely correct. It's Minerva. So Fregalite is now in charge of choosing the topic of the next quiz question after two more topics that we discuss. For now, you can think, Fregalite, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, you can think about the topic and you can put it on the chat whenever you want. It's just so we know already what you want before doing the question, so we don't have to ask later. Okay. So next topic is the Pazzi conspiracy.
Pazzi conspiracy. Yes. This is my topic. I am so excited for this.
Okay, so it's on now, or almost on, so wait a second. Now, yeah, go ahead.
Let's see here. Alrighty, so the Pazzi conspiracy. This video is brought to you by Tapak Yauri. I think a fellow assassin that helped me get the video for you guys to watch as I go over the conspiracy. Anyway, the Pazzi family during the 15th century were a well-established and wealthy family, having their lineage traced back to the 12th century. Their ancestor being the first man who scaled the walls of Jerusalem in the First Crusade. A little nod to Assassin's Creed 1, though I think Assassin's Creed 1 was the Third Crusade. So, anyway, fast forward to the 15th century, the Pazzi had capitalized their way into noble status and had been into banking. But in the 1400s, trouble arose in the Pazzi paradise when their status and wealth was rivaled against the Medici family. The Medici authority rose from humble beginnings, and some thought that their authority got too big. Huge resentment of being second best got the Pazzis to have resentment towards the Medicis. Even Pope Sixtus I think the fourth, was pissed at the Medici. Anti-papal rhetoric and the decline of political appointment to the Pope in northern Italy, not allowed by the Medici to the Pope himself, had him against them. Hence, a conspiracy was born between Rome and the Florentine conspirators. There were multiple assassination attempts which had failed due to the brothers either being sick or just deciding to not be there. Once, there was a plan to assassinate them during Easter in 1278 in Rome, but they didn't travel to Rome, So it was a no-go. Like they're like, all right, let's postpone it. Then in the 19th of April, they arranged a lunch with both brothers. But Giuliano, Lorenzo de' Medici's brother, was too sick to attend, so they planned for the event to take place next week. Anyway, then the conspirators got invited to Sunday Mass by the Medici. Like, how nice of them. They invited them. And they originally intended to kill both brothers after the meal because it's a sacred soil they stand on. So, they had to have some type of respect while doing this. But anywho, though they learned that Giuliano can't meet them for the meal after the service, so they had to improvise. They hired two priests who came into the fray of assassinating the brothers. When one of them left the conspiracy, due to it being done in on religious grounds. They either began the attack on the Medici during the host's, escalation, or with the concluding words, "Et missa est," which means the mass is ended. So that when the mass is ended, then the killing begins. Anyway, the Pazzi conspiracy begins here. As you saw in this stream, Bernardo Baroncelli, the fat dude, he was a member of the Florentine noble family, and began the ambush by plunging a knife into the chest of Giuliano de' Medici, as he said, and I quote, "Here, traitor." Then came Francesco de' Pazzi's blow to Giuliano's chest, as you saw, where he repeatedly plunged his dagger into Giuliano. Like, this is really, this event was portrayed really accurately, as best as possible. Like, but it was portrayed outside in AC2. Giuliano overall suffered between 12 to 19 stab wounds into his body. Then the two priests came from behind Lorenzo, grabbed his shoulder, and did a hit on Lorenzo with a knife. A hit that didn't do its job, barely touching Lorenzo near the neck. Again, as you saw, Lorenzo was able to grab a hold of a short sword to defend himself from a person thing beside him that gave him a short sword, and then he was escorted to safety by his friend Poliziano. As you can see, the Poliziano over there. So let's see here. Where are we in the story? People were fleeing the scene. All right, awesome. So yeah, we're gonna go and attack Francesco de' Pazzi right now, which is perfectly where the story is situated at. So what happened in the aftermath of this event? Well, people were fleeing the scene. Florence was put into a paranoia. They didn't know if both brothers were dead or just one. I need water. Sorry. The Medici allies prepared themselves for the worst. They raised the city alarm bells. The citizens of Florence armed themselves for self-defense. It's all at this point that Jacopo Pazzi, an elder member of the Pazzis, went into the central town square near the Palazzo dei Signori. Oh my God, this is happening! Awesome. With 150 mercenaries to protect him. He called for a revolt against the Medicis. the people, or the popolani, were not having it. He realized a revolt was not possible. Not even papal backup from the Pope showed up for him against the Medicis. So the Pazzi were doomed. They were to blame, and they were now targets, along with the conspirators. Some who were detained in the Palazzo dei Signori were thrown out of its second story windows to their demise, which is the Palazzo Vecchio that Ezio is climbing right now. Baroncelli and Francesco de Pazzi, who were the main killers of Giuliano, were stripped naked and hung in the public square within hours of the crime, as you are going to see in just a bit. Members of the Pazzi were either hunted, captured, executed, or exiled, while Jacopo would flee to the nearby village of Castagno. He was found out and hung for his crimes. His body was buried in the Pazzi crypt, though his body didn't rest just yet. Concerns from Florentines that his existence on holy ground brought bad omens to the grain crops had him unearthed from his grave and reburied outside the town walls. But it didn't stop there. Later, children got a hold of his body, dragged it in the street of Florence, and threw it in the Arno River. I think as it came to shore, it eventually decayed. Alas, the Pazzi conspiracy, while a tragedy to the Medici family, had Lorenzo de' Medici take center stage in the leadership of Florence. If his brother, who was popular at the time, were to live, Lorenzo would have had to share the power and fame with him, and not solely have control over Florence. Hence, the Pazzi conspiracy, while a curse, was also to the advantage of Lorenzo de' Medici. That concludes the Pazzi conspiracy.
Oh my god, that was like the absolute perfect timing ever. Seriously. Wow, I'm really happy with it. Damn.
Awesome. Thank you again. To Pacchiari for like the footage. That was amazing timing.
Yeah. Thanks also from me. Yeah? That was very nice.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Let's see. Really great work here, guys. Oh, thank you so much, guys. Tapacchiari, you're in the stream. That's amazing. Hello.
Yeah. Hi, Tapak.
Yeah.
Thanks again.
Hey, how are you?
For the footage. That was very kind of you.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, what are we gonna do next?
San Gimignano.
San Gimignano.
Yep.
Let me see. Guys, by the way, if you haven't donated yet, and if you can donate, please feel free to go to the description below to access the link and donate. It helps us out a lot, being great partners to the fundraiser, and it's for a good cause. So yeah, whenever you feel like it, go ahead. Anyway, let's move to San Gimignano.
Okay, so I will be doing San Gimignano. Oh Jesus, San Gimignano. Sorry. So, okay, it's already on, I think. So the name of San Gimignano probably comes from Saint Geminianus, a bishop of Modena. So according to legend, during the barbaric invasion, San Gimignanus appeared miraculously on the city walls, and saved the town from the threat Totila, penultimate king of the Ostrogoths. The area of San Gimignano had its first inhabitants in prehistory, but the first relevant settlements date back to the Etruscan period. There are traces of settlements that are more and more numerous during the Hellenistic period, as evidenced by the discovery of some tombs inside of the historical center. And during the Etruscan period, inhabited areas were mainly limited to the top of the hills. With the Roman colonization, the valley bottom was preferred, especially the areas next to streams, whose waters were often used as communication routes. To be noted as an example, the Roman villa of Chiusi in the vicinity of the Torrent Foschi. That's the the Roman villa that is next to a river. Then, in the high and late Middle Ages, San Gimignano had its most thriving period during the 11th through the 14th centuries, due to the fact that it sat along the Via Francigena, an important road and pilgrimage route of the time connecting Rome to Canterbury in England. The Via Francigena, first raised by the Lombards, became the route of pilgrims who traveled to Rome, mainly from France. The detour to the port of Pisa, grafted in San Gimignano, and the town settled around the hillside variation of the Via Francigena, became one of the most important transit and stopping sites for all travelers. This leads to geopolitical significance because San Gimignano is along Via Francigena. The town belonged to the Bishop of Volterra. When talking about the free commune and allegiance to Florence, in 1199, San Gimignano declared itself a free commune, becoming independent of the Bishop of Volterra. At first, the government was in the hands of consuls, then of a podestà, who was periodically changed. And for impartiality reasons, the governor was always a foreigner, and he remained in charge for 6 months only. The city became embroiled in the conflict between the Guelphs and Ghibellines, inevitable given its central position in regards to the two great rival families in Florence and Siena. The Guelphs sided with Florence and were supported by the Pope. Then the Ghibellines sided with Siena and were supported by the Holy Roman Emperor. I'm really sorry about whoever is Italian and is hearing me butcher these names, but yeah. Despite this and other conflicts, San Gimignano prospered economically, particularly thanks to agricultural production such as saffron, Greek wine, and vernaccia. And in the 12th century, it turned out to be its period of highest splendor. The city was notably richer and commissioned various public works. San Gimignano eventually came under the rule of Florence and experienced economic decline and a plague as well. Despite this catastrophe, San Gimignano continued to flourish artistically and culturally. Among the most important are the Renaissance frescoes by Domenico Ghirlandaio in the Santa Fina Chapel, located within the Collegiata, the main church of San Gimignano. That was actually once a cathedral. In the 14th century, the city had over 70 towers. So if you have played the game, you remember that there were a lot of towers. In fact, you can find an assassin tomb inside one of them. And these towers, well, they were homes, which were built by the many wealthy families in the town as a way to show off their wealth and power. Today, only 14 of those towers remain, with the tallest being the Torre Grossa, which is the one that I mentioned with the assassin tomb. The first towers rose wide apart in a rare-field urban fabric, looking very different from the nowadays compact center. And they were used in a different way. Rooms were very narrow, generally 1 times 2 meters. There were very few openings, and the walls they were about 2 meters thick. This actually assured cool temperature in summer and hot in winter, which is something very important in the Italian peninsula. Almost all the towers were built next to other buildings in imperishable materials such as wood and earth. And in medieval times, the tower was the higher symbol of power, mainly because the building process was not simple or cheap at all. Materials needed to be dug and transferred to the town, and the building site had to be also arranged. Only the richest families of merchants and moneylenders could afford the works of construction. The house occupied just part of the tower. The ground floor consisted of workshops and the first floor of bedrooms. Then there was the higher level for the kitchen. The destination of each room followed the simplest security rules. The kitchen, where if there was a fire in it, a fire was usually lit in it. So that's why it was located in the highest living room to escape in case there was an accidental fire. And that's just it for San Gimignano. I'm a little bit early, but you can enjoy this cutscene.
Yeah. Just one more thing of note. The historic center of San Gimignano is a World Heritage Site, or recognized as a World Heritage Site by UNESCO. That's really cool, and can't really wait to go see what it looks like when I go over there in September. So really exciting. And hello, James, who just joined the chat.
What's up, James? Long time no chat, bud. No, I'm just kidding. I chatted with you. Well, that's cool. Thank you guys for covering that. I am tweeting out right now that we are about to go over the second trivia question, and after that we are going up to do the Ponte Rialto, which is actually, are we gonna do the San Marco and then the Ponte Rialto?
No, it's first the Ponte di Rialto, then the Carnevale, and then San Marco.
No, it's Ponte Rialto first, because we have to do the tailing mission, and then we do the actual assassination with the San Marco, and then Carnevale.
Okay, got it. Yeah. Let's do it. All right.
Yeah. Do you want to do?
Well, you guys can do the trivia question. Whose turn is it to choose which Assassin's Creed trivia?
Fregalite has to choose. Which game would you like to choose?
Hold on a minute. I think the assassination mission is playing.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
If you can pause that.
No. It's fine.
Let me see.
Okay. Can I also? Oh, sure, Fregalite. What do you have? What trivia question do you have, actually? Oh, okay. So Fregalite asked the trivia question from AC2. Fiore and Ezio were winning the affection of which woman? What was the name of the woman who Fiore and Ezio were after?
I wonder who it was. Oh, I know. Caterina Sforza. I'm just kidding.
Or knew the Wolfie is correct. So it was.
Oh wait!
It was Meg. It was Meg. Sorry.
Yeah,
I missed
Meg.
it.
It was Meg. Yeah.
Oh, is Wolfie in the chat?
No. I think there's Ornlu the Wolfie who is in the chat, but I'm not sure if that is White Wolf Whispers. But yeah, Meg got it right. That means Meg gets to take the next trivia question after we cover after we go to Venice and cover these two topics.
Okay, so let's begin with Ponte di Rialto.
Yeah, just give me a second here. I am sharing that we are about to start with Ponte Rialto right now.
Okay, wait.
Yeah, just a second. And alrighty, so we are covering Ponte Rialto. Let's go.
Where is Emilio? I told him to be here.
Go ahead.
You told him yourself, in person.
Where are you? Yes, there's a research. Okay, so Ponte di Rialto. So the also known in English as the Rialto Bridge, or the Ponte di Rialto, as it's called in Italian, has had multiple lifetimes. I think just like other landmarks, in the Assassin's Creed 2 to Revelations times. So it has had multiple lifetimes, being the bridge built across the Grand Canal of Venice. So why multiple lifetimes? Well, because the first was built in the 12th century. It was built as a toll bridge, and it was called Ponte de la Moneda. In English, that's Bridge of Coin. This was likely because it was nearby the first mint that Venice had, and a mint produced coins, basically. And I think it wasn't that green herb. In time, the bridge became a hub for international commerce, being the place where painters, craftsmen, and musicians came to give lessons to young kids around the marketplace that it had. Bookshops populated in the area, and it showed Venice's power in book printing as well. In 1310, however, due to an instability in Venice because of a revolution, the bridge burned, but it wasn't completely collapsed. That was not until there was a major group of people watching a boat parade on it that was too much for the bridge to handle. So it collapsed. Still, the bridge proved an amazing opportunity for trade to take place. So, centuries later, it was rebuilt to have 2 rows of shops on each side for rent to merchants. By the way, still made out of wood. This is why you see the Rialto Bridge made out of wood in AC2, not stone. The transition to stone happened because in 1524, this is after the events of AC2, the bridge collapsed again, and Venetians decided to commission designers to build a stone replacement. After all, stone would be much more durable than wood, much more durable than wood, when there would be big crowd traffic on the bridge. Artists like Michelangelo, Sansovino, Palladio were considered for the project. They even had blueprints for the project, but it was Antonio de Ponte, very, very good last name for the job, who got the commission to build the new bridge. That's a long time from 15. Well, he got the job basically like 60 years later, I believe. Just let me check over here. So yeah, he got the job in 1588. That was like 60 years after like they decided to like build a bridge. So that's a long time to wait for a bridge to be remade into stone. Anywho, it took another 3 years to complete the bridge itself, as merchants became both frustrated and disappointed with the process. But it was alas done. Now, during ducal visits to the churches that surrounded the Rialto market, important dignitaries would be escorted from the Rialto Bridge to the nearby palace called the Fondaco de' Turchi. At that time, the Fondaco was the palace of the Duke of Ferrara. At other times, the Fondaco operated as an important hub for trade that was near the Rialto Bridge. Yet, sadly, it was not featured in Assassin's Creed 2. The bridge itself, now made in stone, would have two inclined ramps on each side, mixed with a row of shops on each side still. Its arc was particularly high because it was intended for ships to pass underneath the bridge. To this day, the bridge survives, having lived multiple lifetimes. But now, in stone, for the past 600 years, it connects and holds people to Venice's strongest commercial hub, the Rialto market, a market that has made Venice rich and fortunate for a long time. That is my conclusion for Ponte Rialto, the Rialto Bridge. Thank you.
Okay, that was great. Thank you a lot for for doing this.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Let me see here. So where are we at right now? Oh yeah. Are we at Ponte di Rialto right now, or are we?
Almost.
I don't think so.
Almost.
They just met with Rodrigo, but we're not yet exactly over there.
Can we fast forward to Ponte di Rialto?
I cannot fast forward the video, or at least I don't know how to do that. Because wait, no, yeah, I can.
Yeah. It's a recorded video, so.
There we go.
Oh yeah, this video was also brought.
No, this one I made myself, huh?
Oh yeah. You did. Thank you so much for making it. I think.
That's the bridge already, yeah.
Yeah,
that's the bridge. So yeah, you see how on both sides there are like shops, like this bridge for such a for such an old game is made so good, so accurate to the time. I mean there's even a blueprint of how the bridge looked like. So Assassin's Creed 2 had like some help in constructing this bridge back as it really was in the time. So kudos to them.
Yeah. And if you ever do get a chance to go to like the bridge right now, I would also recommend. It was one of the stops that I made on my trip last 11 years ago. Even though Florence was our base, we had one day in Venice, and we didn't actually. Well, I unfortunately didn't get to go on it. But I did see it along my in the canal taxi. Because that I took when I got to Venice, and if I had the chance to go back there properly, I would take it. Just the bridge itself right now is like really beautiful, and
that's amazing. I can't wait to visit it.
Oh yeah. And now that we're on the subject of travel, before we go to our next topic. If you look at Venice right now, it looks like a fish, and I'm not saying that as a joke. If you look at the map of Venice right now, like actual Venice, the entire island looks like a fish, and it's man-made. And then I think when you get to the air taxi, when you get to like a canal taxi, you would have to go along the canal, and I forget. I don't think that the first stop of the canal taxi is anywhere near a landmark, but the final stop of that canal taxi, that at least from what I remember, is the next topic that we're gonna cover right now, which is Saint Mark's Basilica, or Basilica de San Marco.
Okay.
So If
You,
we're
yeah, you can
yeah, I'm
almost begin. Yeah.
okay. All right. So, for context, who is Saint Mark? Uh, Saint Mark was an evangelist and a soldier, um, and the basilica is named after him because in 820 and it was founded in 828 A.D. after the relics and his body were quote unquote brought were actually reportedly stolen from Alexandria in Egypt. At this time, the when the first was church built, it was a temporary building forming part of the ducal palace. And the doge at the time was a man by the name of Justiniano Patriciaco. My apologies if I also butchered that name. The church was burned. This church was burned in a rebellion in 976 when the populace locked Pietro the Fourth Candiano inside to kill him and restored and rebuilt in 978. Not much is known about the form or history of these early churches. The Basilica di San Marco that we see now commenced construction in 1063 under the auspices of Doge Domenico Contarini. And then, starting in 1071, the Doge Domenico Selvo authorized the start of mosaic decoration in the then unfinished church. And then finally, on October 8th, 1094, it was the church was consecrated by Doge Vitale Falier. With this phase, that well, count them right now. That is three churches, and the current form is the third church that it was being built, and it was specifically the Church of the Doge. Anyway, with this phase completed, the church had five lowered cupolas, was rich in columns, cornices, and capitals ordered in Constantinople, and was characterized by a Romanesque style, especially in the brick walls. This the first 20 years of the church's existence were years of ruinous events, great fires, and earthquakes. In this period, the pre-existing walls of Saint Theodore's and the ducal palace were absorbed in the north and south frontages to reinforce an insufficiently stable cupola system in 1171, and the Doge Sabatino Ziani built a terrace on the whole frontage and certainly extended and completed the narthex from the terrace. The new St. Mark's Square could be seen created a covering over the Rio Batterio. So here we are in the Doge's palace, and if you go behind where Ezio is, that's actually the San Marco. So going to the 14th century with the fall of Constantinople in 1204, crusade by crusaders against the Byzantine Empire, not the fall of Constantinople by the Ottoman Empire. Venice became a key city-state during the Fourth Crusade. It was during this time that Venice began to make its name with increasing trading power rather than political power. Venice established links with the Byzantine Empire through its trade and relationship, and also brought about the exchange of artistic and architectural ideas in addition to economic interest. It is because of this that Venetian architects adopted a Byzantine architectural style for the basilica. However, in the first few decades, the arches on the facade were laid with slabs and marble. Ships came to Venice with stone materials gathered on their voyages in the east. Columns and whole marble complexes were either removed and became buildings purchased by the Venetians. Most of these trophies ended up on the brickwork facade. The wooden cupolas, roofed with lead, were raised to make them visible from the sea. At the end of the 13th century, Venice was at the peak of its glory and commercial power. The church with polychrome marble and mosaic stood in a red brick piazza, while facades and the surrounding buildings were mostly frescoed. Now, going into the 14th century, Doge Andrea Dandolo decided to build the baptistry in the first half of the 14th century, occupying an area which believed to have been an ancient open portico between the ducal palace and the church. In the second half of the century, Doge Dandolo also commissioned the building of the chapel of Saint Isidore on the side of the north transept. Now, 15th century, which is around the time period we are in. After a fire of 1419 that destroyed much of the basilica structure, Tuscan stone cutters ran restoration efforts. The lunets on the upper register of the facades were decorated under the guidance of Niccolo Lamberti. From 1425 to 1433, Paolo Uccello, born Paolo de Dino, worked on the mosaics of the facades. In this century, the mosaics of the Mascali Chapel were also created, depicting scenes from the life of the Virgin. Now, it just ended. However, just a brief rundown. We had from 15 in the 16th century, Jacopo Sansovino created a system of hooping cupolas and a buttress system. And a buttress system, he also created the altar of the Most Holy in the presbytery, gates of paradise, and statues of the evangelists, and the baptismal font in the baptistry. Then there were extensive preservation efforts from the 17th through the 19th centuries. Then, when Venice, still independent, this is before the reunification, in 1797, it fell under the control of the French Empire under Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon separated the church from the ducal palace in 1807, assigning it to the church patriarch. I think this is Roman Catholic, not Orthodox, because in Orthodox religion you are headed by by patriarchs, not the Pope. Anyway, because of this action, the basilica became the chapel of Venice, not just the personal chapel of the Doge. Then, finally, on another significant event, on the morning of July 14th, 1902, the Campanile collapsed, and there were rigorous inspections of all the structural aspects of the church. And this was also augmented with with experiments in restoring the mosaics without removing them from their original position. And then there are still preservation efforts that continue into today. I think even after World War II, and finally, oh my God, I've been talking for too long. But finally, again, I would really, really recommend this. It's almost as if it's the cathedral. Well, the basilica, like the Duomo, is essentially the focal point of all Venice. So meaning sort of all points lead to over there. But when you get over there and when you go to its square, you see the bell tower, you see the Doge's palace. Oh my God, it is just so breathtaking. It is very, very beautiful, and the sea noise and just the water noise around it. It is very, very serene. And Venice, because of that, Venice does live up to its name of the old name of La Serenissima Repubblica. And that is all that I have. I am sorry for rambling. I just love this city so much.
Well, thanks a lot. Anyway, actually, I'm very envious that you have been able to say it, because it's one of the cities that I have in my bucket list. And even though that's people that live there, they are not so fond of tourists. But seriously, it's definitely a city I want to see before I die. Absolutely.
We're coming for you, Venetians. We're coming for you.
Yeah. Now that we're on the subject of this, well, she's not watching because she's been busy with some things in her personal life. But I will give a shout out to an Assassin's Creed fan from Venice that we all know. Her name is Sophia. If you follow her on Twitter, it's Sophia EA16. She is a great.
She's great.
She's great. She's a great person, talented fan artist, and an Ezio fan. So if you get a chance to check her out, to check her fan art out, I think over on her Twitter. I think she also streams. Also Sophia EA16. So yeah, shout out to our fellow Venetian assassin, Sophia.
That was very kind of you, Zark.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 2 topics down. So it's time for a trivia question, and I think it's Meg's turn to choose. So, what would you like? Going to put it on the chat as well, just in case she's a bit distracted.
Assassin's. What is your favorite Assassin's Creed 2 landmark?
Oh my god! If I had to speak for myself, I really don't know. But I'm a very big fan of Florence in general. It's just really, really beautiful.
I said landmark, not city. I'm just kidding.
I know, but I really cannot decide. I would say maybe Santa Maria del Fiore, actually, because it's such a it's very important in the skyline of Florence, and it's just when you think Ezio, you think Florence. So there's that.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. And like going along further of that, like 2 other landmarks that in Florence that I have a sort of connection with, or that I'm actually gonna mention with more travel tips, is that there's San Lorenzo, which because I think you have to I don't know if there was a memory over there. I think there was a glyph, and I think there was a viewpoint. However, I wrote a term paper not about San Lorenzo, but what's inside San Lorenzo, and what's inside San Lorenzo are the Medici tombs, and the Medici tombs were done by Michelangelo, and they were dedicated to Giuliano de Medici. If you see it, it's not. If you see it, it's kind of a little bit strange at first because the body proportions are not correct. That's because it was stylized, and this was like late Renaissance too. So it was. But yeah, like I'm finally get to seeing it for the first time. But like I wrote a paper on it and just the research of it, like I highly recommend. And then finally, if you go to Florence and you need to go to the train station, remember the Santa Maria Novella, which is like the first assassin tomb. The reason why that is not noteworthy, like even in the current day, is because the main train station in Florence is located across from Santa Maria Novella. In fact, the train station is named Florence Santa Maria Novella, so you shouldn't miss it. So remember that when you're going to go to Florence.
Oh, I remember being there, and if I'm not wrong, I think it's maybe behind or nearby. There was this, I think it was like a pharmacy or something, but they also sold tea. And I bought a couple of tea boxes that were probably the best tea I've tasted in my entire life. So if you happen to be around there, seriously, take a look. It's actually quite nice. I think they also sell essential oils and some other stuff, all plant-based things, I think.
Yeah, I think I know which pharmacy you're talking about too.
It's really old and really like just going there and not buying anything is actually gorgeous. So
yeah. What age did Altair become a master assassin? Ooh. So just to repeat, so Meg, even though she won the last quiz, she actually did her own trivia question, which was, at what age did Altair become a master assassin? I actually don't know this myself.
Meg,
I think I know actually, but I don't want to say the answer because I think other people should participate.
Give us options, Meg. When was it? When was Altair ever a master assassin? He's a mentor.
Yeah, but before being a mentor, you're a master assassin. You're given
I
the
know, I
rank
know.
of master, so...
I know.
Okay. I just looked it up on the wiki, and yeah, I just looked it up on the wiki, and I did the math.
I'm gonna go with 26 years old.
I think it was 25.
I'm only saying 26 because I'm 26.
Wait a minute. Am I getting it right? Oh. All right. All right. So the answer. So, um. So doing the quick math, I wanna say. Ooh. So I was gonna say that first that Arsh was close, and then when Ada said 25, she was closer, and then when Blue Tiger said 23, they are also close, but not the exact number.
It was 24.
Mm-hmm. So, so yeah, I did the. So looking up on the wiki, Altair was born in 1165, and then there's an actual section on his elevation to Master Assassin, and it was 1189. So yeah, Arsh is correct. It is he was 24 years old.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get to pick the next question. Yay!
Okay. Yeah, you do. You can choose later if you want. For now, we go to the Carnival of Venice.
Yes, let's party it up, people. Let's party it up.
Okay.
Let's go.
Go ahead.
Is the video live? Let me see. Yes.
It's almost.
Hello, Madame Theodora. That's great. All right. Okay, so the Carnivale is rather short. The research for it, but let's see. So the Carnivale, it was an occasion that was linked to 10 days. It was an occasion that was linked to the 10 days leading up to Lent. In the year 1094, Doge Vital Falier, sorry if I butchered that, Italians, forgive me, but he granted Venetians the right to party it up with a carnival before Lent began, which happens. Lent happens for 40 days, where people would fast, waiting for Easter. It was not only Venice who would celebrate this event, but also cities like Florence, Rome, and Naples. During this time, the event came to be characterized as the freedom to eat and drink, and I'm quoting this, the freedom to eat and drink gargantuan amounts, to wear a mask, to insult your neighbors, to pelt them with eggs, lemons, oranges, and to sing songs full of political or sexual innuendos. Many sources also link the Carnival's start to 1162, where Venice's Republic won a big victory and celebrated with drinking and dancing on Piazza San Marco. There were many unwanted behaviors eventually during Carnivale time. Just as I said previously, for example, people used to throw eggs on other people. This was banned in 1268. In 1339, masks caused a big problem where people did crimes with them. So a law was put not to commit crimes while wearing masks. Men would even enter female monasteries masked as women. In 1458, a law was made to not allow such inappropriate actions to be done. Though Carnivale in Venice was much more fun in the past than it is now. Though they were stricter back in the day, the Venetian Carnivale didn't just go for a few days. It was a celebration that would last for months. According to a source I used, the Compagnie della Causa, a group of young noblemen, organized theatrical performances, private balls, serenades, regattas, fireworks, and processions on the water to welcome their distinguished guests. All these you see in Assassin's Creed 2, which is freaking amazing. Like, fireworks, fun. It's just a great old good time party. Now, Venetians would wear masks at this time, which would cancel out the difference in gender and social status they held, and made them somewhat equal for the time being. It was a time where women would appear in men's clothes, men in women's skirts, as they hid in their mask disguise. So what was the mask most worn at this time? Well, it was the Bota mask. The Bota mask is actually shown in Assassin's Creed 2, and I think, like, if you can't spot it over there, you can go to the first Assassin's Creed 2 trailer, and you'll see one person wearing it. It was a pretty popular mask back then. Why was it a popular mask? Well, because it covered the whole face and had two holes from which the eyes can see. Most importantly, it had its bottom open, where Venetians could enjoy eating their food. Also, the mask had the perfect disguise for voice alteration, as when you wear it, your voice got altered, hence people wouldn't know you from your voice. Putting more fact into, like, you are disguised. Though Venice at the time was ruled by the Council of Ten, and they issued many decrees to restrict the use of masks, but they were not fully followed. Of course, being religious, people didn't wear their masks in sacred places like the church. Even prostitutes were not given the right to wear masks. Neither were their clients in brothels. And ironically, masks were not worn in epidemics at that time. If only they knew the benefits of a mask in an epidemic. Now, where masks were allowed were in places like the theater or the casino, as gambling was a favorite pastime for the Venetians. Though in the 16th century, the Council of Ten had a restrictive decree on gambling, it didn't stay for long. In fact, the local government of Venice would have more control later by instituting an official gambling room of the Republic of Venice, where all wore masks. Now, to conclude, the Carnivale the Carnivale was a time where Venetians got a holiday from morality, as they hid in their masked disguise. Everything was permitted. Hence, I conclude the Carnivale in Venice research.
Okay, great.
If I may add on to that, Carnivale still exists today, and I was just looking up the 2023 schedule. So if you're in the area, or if you want to go to the area, It will be for 10 days from February 11 through February 21st. And there's already like a schedule of events during each of those days, like costume shows. There's also some feasts, as well as some musical performances as well. But when you do go to Venice, there are various vendors around there that will actually sell masks, and I did get one. It wasn't. Well, I was trying to look for like a plague doctor mask, but it was number one too big and number two too expensive. So I got something else that was like similar, but smaller. And then, just to give context, Carnivale is not, well, there is the Venetian Carnivale, but there's also various carnivals around Europe. And if you're based in the US, the equivalent of this would be Mardi Gras, in New Orleans, which is a somewhat similar setup, except there's no, I don't think they're wearing masks, and I think it's more so based on French Carnival rather than Venetian Carnival. But they're more or less connected in that it's like a grand party for to be celebrated in the city, basically.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you really want to party it up, go to the Venice Carnival. Do it right. Do it the AC2 way, right?
True.
Yeah. Let me see here. I am just doing the promotion for the Bonfire of the Vanities, which will be the next thing.
Yeah, the next
Researched.
and last topic, yes. By
Yeah,
the way,
the next one.
shout out to Meg because it's her birthday today, or at least where she is right now. It's already her birthday because there is already the
my God, happy
5th of
birthday.
September. So
Yeah.
happy 24th birthday, Meg.
Happy
Yeah.
24th birthday, Meg. Best wishes. You're amazing.
You certainly are.
Yes,
let me
yes,
know
you
when
are
you're ready,
amazing.
Arsh, and I'll put the video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or as I like to say to my kababayan, maligayang kaarawan. Oh my God, I'm so horrible in Tagalog. Maligayang kaarawan to Meg. That is happy birthday in Tagalog because if you know me, I'm Filipino. Meg is also Filipino, so we are kababayan. we are compatriots.
Well, the only thing I can say to Meg is in colonizer language, and that's Feliz cumpleaños, Meg. So I'm really sorry about the colonization. I shouldn't laugh, but yeah, it's
Oh, wait, Blue Tiger, ganun ba? Wait, you're also from the Philippines? Aba!
That's amazing.
Maraming salamat for being over here.
Oh,
Sending
he's
me
so
that. Oh my God.
excited! That's
Yeah, I
so
know.
cute.
Oh my God, yeah, I'm sorry. It's just, well, not really sorry. It's just that like Filipinos are just have this sort of like familial bond, at least from my experience. So like everybody's on like first name basis with each other. That's why we give each other nicknames.
Oh, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
It's very cute to see.
Yeah, you're very enthusiastic, Zark.
I like that. That's nice.
Yeah.
Arsh, are you ready with the bonfire?
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay,
I am ready.
Press play then.
All right, cool. Let's cover the Bonfire of the Vanities. So let's see. All right, so the Bonfire of the Vanities. We all know one person from this event. His name was Girolamo Savonarola. just plays into your mouth. His name. He was a Dominican friar that had controversially extreme views of how one should be disciplined. Coming to Florence in 1490 at the request of the then powerful Lorenzo de' Medici, Savonarola preached about controversial topics such as the exploitation of the poor, the excesses of Renaissance Italy, and the corruption that the clergy were up to. He preached to people to repent and reform themselves with more discipline. Luckily to him, his words were easy to put into people's ears, and a lot of them agreed with his viewpoints. His preaching was so famous that a political party, the Fratelli, was established to just to carry the lessons he taught. He believed that Florence was God's chosen city, that it would be more powerful if its population were not to give it into vanities, but instead practiced asceticism, which is self-discipline. Savonarola was followed so much that he became the de facto ruler of Florence, as bodyguards surrounded him. So let's see. So yeah, he had a big influence in Florence. At one point, he even brought down the Medicis in Florence. Once King Charles VIII invaded Italy, and so bringing his own influence to be greater in Florence. Eventually, his preachings encouraged bonfires to happen around the city that destroyed any books, art, musical instruments, jewelry, manuscripts, clothes. All in all, luxuries that led people to self-indulge instead of discipline themselves. This event, of course, would be called the Bonfire of the Vanities, and the biggest one would take place on February 7th, 1497, where more than 1,000 children went around the city burning luxurious materials. Even famous contemporary Florentine artists like Lorenzo de' Credi and Sandro Botticelli would destroy their works during the Vanities time period. Any who dared not to burn their indulgent material would deal with Savonarola's fanboys, the Piagnoni. Correct me if I'm wrong. Thing like about pronouncing their name. Anyway, these were also called like weepers. Basically, they were fanboys of Savonarola. So if they saw something wrong that Savonarola preached about, they would have come for you. So, like for example, Savonarola even passed laws where he declared that being overweight was a sin. He had the youth hunting down any who dressed inappropriately or were eating fancy food. I mean, this guy was boring. His influence grew so big that Pope Alexander VI, Rodrigo Borgia, knew of him and had him in 1497 excommunicated for sedition and heresy charges. I mean, Alexander VI was corrupt himself, but I digress. Savonarola would eventually confess to his false prophecies and be executed in the Piazza della Signoria. Ironically, he held bonfires there too before then. Wow. As we're speaking about it, it is happening. It's one of those key moments in this live stream that makes it so amazing. Now, the historical accuracy comes where, this is where you see Savonarola kissing fire in Assassin's Creed 2. Because of his notoriety, his ashes were thrown to the river Arno after his execution, so that his fanboys and girls don't make relics of them. After any Piagnoni or Weeper who supported Savonarola was either exiled or imprisoned when the Medici came to power again. With that research, I conclude Assassin's Creed 2's Discovery Tour topics.
Since you had, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Since you had mentioned the Palazzo della Signoria, again another travel tip. It's now known as the Palazzo Vecchio, or the Old Palace, because it doesn't function. It has no administrative function anymore. It's merely a museum. It's merely a museum right now. And if you don't recognize it from the game, you'll be able to recognize it because there is a copy of Michelangelo's David right outside it. When the original David is in another museum in Florence. Right beside the Palazzo Vecchio is the Ponte Vecchio, which is the bridge that we see in the beginning of the game, where Ezio and Vieri's gang fight, and also later on where Ezio and Lorenzo de' Medici meet and they recount the history, the connected history between the Auditore and the Medici families. Now, in that area, there is an actual restaurant called Ristorante Auditore, and it is named after Ezio.
Nice.
And it was established. Yeah, it was established in 2018, so it's relatively new. But looking at the menu, it's a bit on the expensive side. But just looking at the menu, I think that they really emphasize the Florentine staple, which is bistecca fiorentina or Florentine beefsteak. That is one of the staples of Florence if you ever go to eat there. Also tripa or tripe. So if you're an AC fan and you're willing to spend a little bit more money there. You can probably just go over. You can feel free to go over there. I myself have not, because as I said, it was established in 2018. I don't know if I'll be going over here when I go over there, but it's just really rather interesting that because I found out about it like earlier this year, and because other than that, I think there was someone who posted in Reddit a menu in an Italian restaurant. And the background was one of the promo images for Assassin's Creed 2, where Ezio's on the rooftop and he's looking at the Duomo. So it really goes to show how much AC2 basically made Assassin's Creed part of the public part of the zeitgeist, part of pop culture. AC, I think, and it drew a lot of this game, and the story and the characters drew a lot of people into the series who haven't played AC1 before. And I myself became particularly interested after seeing the E3 trailer for AC2. So it really goes to show the popularity of this game and of the character, even though there are other characters who have become just as popular, if not more popular. Altair grew in popularity afterwards, and then you have the Kenways, then you have the Fries, and then of course you have Bayek, Cassandra, and Eivor. Just basically, it was this game that put the series on the map, and it's just goes to sort of, that's a testament to the splendor of this game, basically. So, but yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
I completely agree.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't care that it's an expensive restaurant. I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna enjoy my time and be like, dude, thank you for making this restaurant. Like, thing for like stepping up and putting the Auditore name in Florence. It's in Florence, right?
Yeah, it's in Florence.
Yeah.
As I said, it's in the area of the Palazzo. It's just right around the corner from the Palazzo Vecchio.
Oh, dude, I am so going. I didn't even know. See, we get to learn about landmarks, and we get to learn about new landmarks.
That's actually very nice. Yeah.
In this stream, it's amazing the way that works out. Yeah, that's crazy.
Okay, to finish the stream, I would like to remind you that we are doing this stream in collaboration with the ones who came before, and their fundraising called Assassins in Need. The donation webpage is down in the description, and well, if you can, then it would be much appreciated. If you can't, then that's all fine. You can always retweet their tweets about the fundraiser and everything, and I think that would be just enough for everyone, for the ones that have prepared it.
Yeah, spread the word.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's the end of the stream.
Let's go. I think it's my time to pick the question, right?
You want the last question? Yeah, sure. You can.
Why not?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Let's end it with an Assassin's Creed 2 question and make it hard.
Okay. So it's about the modern day. Oh, I like finishing like this. The next question is about the modern day, and the question is: Desmond suffered an extreme episode of the bleeding effect in Assassin's Creed 2. What did he see?
Could you repeat that? I didn't quite get that.
I said Desmond. Desmond suffered an extreme episode of the bleeding effect in Assassin's Creed 2, and what did he see? So,
and I think.
What did he see exactly? Do you mean?
Well, you don't have to give me a step by step, but.
Because I was gonna say, if you want to look at Frigolite's answer.
Oh yeah. So yeah, it's Altair and Maria together. But if you go a bit further, they are correct. I'm not entirely sure about the changes, so they are correct, and it's the conception of Darim. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
That's
so.
When I saw that memory, I'm like, man, am I playing Assassin's Creed 1 in Assassin's Creed 2? This is freaking amazing.
Yeah.
And it got me into Assassin's Creed 1 too. Like that's how I went and played Assassin's Creed 1, because the Assassin's Creed that got me into Assassin's Creed was Assassin's Creed 2, and I will forever thank it for that. So yeah.
Oh, Meg says that apparently we did this question already, but it was not marked. It might have been another time that I wasn't here and we forgot to put it in red or something. So
fine. It's always nice to visit the homie Altair again, you know.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, and Maria. Let's not forget Maria.
I remember the first Assassin's Creed 1 was actually the first one I played, and that's how I got hooked, because I actually am a lot into Templars, or I was a lot into Templars, now I'm a lot into Assassin's Creed and Templars. But after Assassin's Creed 1, when you reach the end and you see the whole thing about the piece of Eden and the map and everything, and the plot twist that Al-Mualim is actually a double agent, so to speak. Mind blown, seriously. Mind absolutely blown. And I was like, oh my god, I have to install immediately Assassin's Creed 2, because I bought them together quite cheap in a store, and I immediately loaded Assassin's Creed 2, and seriously, I loved being able to continue also the modern day story and everything. It was delightful.
that plot was like spoiled to me. So going into Assassin's Creed 1, I knew El Molim was like the big threat. By the way, spoiler alert, it's been 15 years. um but I was excited to know, like, how did he become like, a turncoat to the Templar cause. So yeah, that was pretty interesting to know about.
Well, you can discuss more about it in the next stream. I think for now we can already close this one, unless you want to say something else.
Yeah. So for the next stream, it's gonna be, of course, Assassin's Creed 1. We're gonna conclude the Discovery Tour series for the old Assassin's Creed games with Assassin's Creed 1. I think right now we're researching topics like Templars, Assassins, how they came to be. We're also gonna go over, like, how the cities were in Assassin's Creed 1. So stay tuned to that. It's going to be an amazing time with you, Assassins, and it's going to be a conclusion to an amazing live stream during AC15 that we have been doing. This started with Assassin's Creed Syndicate, and now finally we're coming into a close with Assassin's Creed 1. So yeah, please be here during that stream.
Yeah, I actually created the event for it earlier. So it's so the event is up right now on my stream, on my channel rather, for next Sunday at 12 p.m. or 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, or 9 a.m. Pacific Time. We hope to see you there.
Ada,
yeah.
If you can go to the loading screen so people can see Master Hekate's thing, like channel, like how do you spell it? So
but I don't have audio on that one, so you can just say goodbye and I'll leave that one so people can see it. Okay.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, guys, then this would be the conclusion to Assassin's Creed 2 Discovery Tour. I've been AC Landmarks, Arshock. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at AC_landmarks. I do basically what I've been doing over here. I research topics and I let you know very specific information about historical stuff that happens in Assassin's Creed 2. Well, in Assassin's Creed franchise, for your entertainment. Where can they follow you guys?
Well, for me, this channel itself, where they are right now, and on Twitter as Science Creed.
Yep. Awesome.
And then for me, I'm primarily a virtual photographer. So, and I post all of my photos onto Tumblr, but I also do streams. I've been streaming Assassin's Creed 1 recently on my Twitch, as well as my YouTube. Well, I'm actually saving the streams from my Twitch onto my YouTube. So, and I think but if you just see my name in the description and just type it out, that is my YouTube chat. That is my YouTube channel name. But yeah, I've just been streaming AC1 right now, as well as doing doing photography and photo edits. It's actually it's also a significant day for me because it's also the anniversary of my photo blog.
Congrats.
Yeah, great times all around, and I'll see you where I see you.
Yeah. Also, by the way, you guys, by next week, on Sunday when we stream the Assassin's Creed 1 live stream, Assassin's Creed Mirage details will be live. So we can discuss our opinions about it in the live chat if you guys are down. It's gonna be an amazing time for the Assassin's Creed franchise, I hope. So yeah, come join us, learn, and let's chat about Assassin's Creed Mirage, because it's gonna happen in the Middle East, and you're in a live stream that covers the Middle East, so it's gonna be an amazing time. Yeah, but with that, we conclude the Assassin's Creed 2 Discovery Tour. So see you guys next week, okay?
Yeah. Okay, goodbye everyone, and thank you for joining.
Goodbye.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.